Welcome to another video. Today we have a truhart upper camber kit for the front, and we have a Goodridge stainless steel brake line, which is dot approved and TAV ADR compliance accepted. These are stainless steel brake lines. I'm gonna give you the part number for these. This is for a 90 to 91 CRX SI with rear disc brakes, and these are for an 88 to 91 Honda Civic, and that's the part number right there. Civic CRX. Okay, so let's open this up. So we have the upper control arm here with the 3 Allen head ball joint. The welds are pretty nice. It's a little blobby, but they look pretty solid. It has a really cool powder coat on them. It comes with cotter pins for the castle nut and some stickers. This is the other one right here. Now the stainless steel brake lines. Today I'm just going to be installing the front. So these are the stainless steel brake lines. It has the mounting hardware and everything on them. So let's get started. Okay, so we would have to do is we would have to remove the suspension. We're going to have to remove this upper ball joint. There's 2 10mm bolts to hold this cover, and then there's a 17mm under there with a cotter pin. We would have to remove that. Then we will have to remove this 14mm bolt, and there's a 17mm. Let's take a look at it. 17mm bolt right here, where we had to remove this so we can remove this bracket off the shock. And we're gonna remove that, and we're gonna remove this top section, and let's do that. Okay, so I removed the cover for this, and I'm about to loosen the nut. I'm gonna show you why I'm replacing this. If you move it back and forth like this, it shakes. So that makes a lot of noise when you're driving, and that's not safe. So I'm gonna remove this. Okay. So I'm actually just gonna loosen it somewhat, so that way I can put on the ball joint separator. So before I get to that, I'm gonna have to remove this 14mm. So there's a 14mm right here, which I'm gonna remove. Then we have to remove the 17 in the bottom, and we can slide it right off. So let's remove this bolt first. Oh. Alright, so now we're going to remove this 17mm right here. I'm going to need to use a combination wrench. And I'm going to use a socket at the same time. Okay, let me get this removed. Okay, so once we remove the bolt right here off the lower control arm, we're gonna just pull it right off. Okay, so now we're gonna slide this bracket off. Just wiggle it. So now since we moved the 14 mil bolt here and the 17 mil bolt on the bottom right here, we would just slide this bracket down and back, and we'll pull it right off. Okay, so now we have to remove this shock assembly. There's two 14 mil bolts right on top. Let me show you. There's one right here and then one right here. So once we remove those two 14 mil bolts, we can pull the shock assembly outwards. And then after that, we will have to pop this ball joint right here. And I'm going to show you guys how to pop that ball joint out. Okay, so now we're going to remove this top upper ball joint. I put my ball joint separator in here. And all we have to do is get a 19 mil or a 3/4, and I'm gonna use a 3/4. We're just gonna tighten this until it pops off. So let me go ahead and pop this off real quick, and then we'll get to the next two bolts. Okay, so now we're gonna remove these two 17 millimeter bolts. There's one right there, and there's one right here hidden. It's right here. I'm sorry about the lighting, but you can't see it. And actually on the other side, let me show you. The one of the bolt is right here, and the other one is right under here. So you would have to remove this 10 millimeter bolt right here, and another 10 millimeter bolt right here in the back to remove this fuse box out the way so you can reach it. Okay, let me go ahead and remove that, and then we'll go along back with the video. Okay, so now with those two bolts removed, we should be able to pull this control arm out. Let me actually use a screwdriver because it's been up in there. Alright, I might actually have to hit the top. Alright, so I'm sorry about the bad camera work. So now with that popped down, we can remove this A-arm. So let's take a look at this A-arm. By the look of the A-arm, it seems like my bushings are shot. So I would actually have to get a replacement. So these bushings right here are shot, so these gonna have to get replacement. I would either have to order brand new ones. I might just go to the tow yard and just get some decent ones from the tow yard so I can install this back on. Okay. Okay, so I got the new brackets here. I actually got it from Pick and Pull. And now we just gonna have to install it. We'll shove it right back up in here, like so. And then we're gonna come around on top, and we're gonna put the bolts in. So we got one of the bolts right here, and the other one right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and install that, and then we'll get to the next part. Okay, so now with the A-arm installed, we're gonna put the knuckle right back onto it. So this, I'm still gonna get, I have to take this to go get alignment still. So we're gonna put this A-arm, and we're gonna try to adjust the camber so it's not too bad, so we can put the get the camber adjusted. And then once that's done, we're gonna get to the brake lines. I'm gonna show you how to do the brake lines. Might not be able to get to the other side today, but I'm gonna show you how to do it, and that'll be it for the video. Now the upper control arm is installed. I put in the components back in. It might needs to be adjusted. I have to drop the car to see where it's lined up. Then I'm gonna have to try to line it up as straight as possible so I can drive it to the alignment shop. But now we're just gonna do is we're gonna install the brake lines. Okay, let's go get into that. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna replace this brake lines with a stainless steel brake line. First thing we will have to do is we're gonna loosen this 10mm bolt here. I have a Freya nut, 10 mil, and we're gonna loosen that up. Okay, so the whole thing is actually wanting to move together. Let's see, what size is that? Is that a 17 mil? Let me take a look. Okay, so that's a 17 mil. So we're gonna loosen this up. Let's move this over here. And let's break this loose. Alright, so that's broken loose. Okay, so now we're gonna be able to loosen this brake line. With this Freya nut, we should be able to loosen this brake line without stripping this aluminum line right here, and we don't want that to happen. So once that is kind of loose, I have it kind of loose, and the brakes are starting to leak. Let me turn it in back a little bit. Okay, so now we're gonna remove this lock. So the way to remove this lock is either with a plier. I'm gonna try it with this flathead screwdriver. It's not giving me anything, so we're gonna do it with this plier right here. So I'm gonna get a hold of it, and we're gonna just pull it out. Okay, I guess I'll go back to the screwdriver. Alright, I might need two hands for this, so let me remove this lock right here. Let me show you again. There's a lock right here on top. All it has to do is just to be pulled and slide outwards. Once that is pulled out, this line, hard line, and this brake line should be free to move. Alright, let me remove that lock real quick. Okay, so now I installed the brake lines, and I mounted one of the brackets on. I think I'm just gonna leave this one loose right here. I might do something with this later, but I turned the wheel back and forth, and this line is not gonna interfere with anything. So now we have our brake lines installed, and that's kind of basically it for today's video. I'm gonna do the other side next, but it's basically the same thing. We're gonna do is with the upper control arm, we're gonna remove those two top bolts for the control arm. We're gonna remove this castle nut and these two covers. 14 mil bolt here, 17 mil bolt in the bottom to remove this lower bracket, then the two 14 mil bolts on top to remove the shocks. And that's basically it, guys. Thank you for watching my video. I know my quality is not great. My illustration is terrible. I have a little speech thing going on here, and thanks for watching my video. Maybe we'll come up with something better next time. Okay, see you guys next video.